How did that work? Hey everybody, I'm just going to do a quick setup on YouTube and I will be with you all in a moment. Let me just mute my microphone so you're not annoyed by my typing. Let's see, mic. Whoa, I see that we have 19 people on YouTube. That is incredible. Welcome. Welcome, fellow artists on YouTube. I appreciate you all being here. And so I've just finished this agate chainmail piece, and I wanted to come on um, to share it and to see if anybody would like to claim it today. I have another new agate piece that I'm working on, and I'm also working on a brand new Zodiac Dragon Eye chainmail necklace. And so I thought I should come on and put together a show about agate and dragons. But before we begin today, let's add a little bit of a positive vibe in the space. Let's try some Palo Santo today. Palo Santo traditionally was used to smudge spaces, and spaces were smudged, kind of cleansed with smoke, to improve the vibe of the place. Expel negative energies and kind of promote inspiration and positive energies. And today is one of those days where I feel like, I'm I'm a bit on the negative side. And so I found myself as I was preparing coffee this morning and finishing up this piece here that I gravitated, and usually it's a routine. I like watching business gurus talk about their craft on YouTube, but today I kind of gravitated to the more negative videos on YouTube about creative business and things like that. And then, of course, you watch one or you hover over one, and the algorithm likes to feed you some more of the same content. And so, if anything, the YouTube algorithm is very good at, you know, seeing what you, analyzing what you're looking at and feed you more of that content. And I've noticed that today, the content that it was feeding me was definitely on the negative side. And I don't need that. None of us needs that. And so, uh, being conscientious of what I watch, I thought today I needed a little bit of an energy cleanse because I don't want to be that negative person. Hey, Ashley K, we don't need that. We have plenty, plenty, plenty of naysayers in our lives telling us no, that um, what you want to achieve isn't possible, isn't realistic, it's silly. Yes, it's Palo Santo. It definitely is. Doing some cleansing of the space here. And so, just reflecting on a few things. And anyway, as artists, we need to cut out all of the negative content in our lives. We need to cut out naysayers. We need to cut it, and we need to be conscientious about what we watch on the internet. Because let me tell you, um, you're only serving to sort of feed the demon inside of you when you just consume negative content. You don't need that. Just stay on the path, stay on the plan. And guess what? You're an artist. That means you're a problem solver. And even in difficult times, you will find solutions to your problems. It takes creativity to solve problems. And so, even if the solution is something you weren't expecting or you weren't actively pursuing, you will find a solution to your problem. But if you're in a negative headspace, that creativity is closed, and you'll never find the solution. And so, I once I noticed what I was doing, I stopped watching the negative business guru content and switch to the positive business guru content. And so, again, just doing a bit of a cleanse of the energy in here because we artists don't need to feed the demons within us. We don't need to do that. Stop it. We need to stop it and just push forward so that solutions can come to us. And solutions come to us. It's like solving a creative problem. It's exactly the same thing. You will not be open to creativity and problem solving in a negative space. So let's banish that. And so I got a little bit of the Palo Santo going here. And hey, shout out to anyone watching on YouTube. I appreciate you being there, giving me some watch time. Gosh knows it's hard to rack up watch time on YouTube. So I appreciate anyone there. Um, and I appreciate anyone who's here on Whatnot as well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So let's get started with the subject of today's stream. Apart from introducing new pieces that um, include agate in them and introducing works in progress that feature dragon eyes, um, I just wanted to come on and have a nice conversation with everyone and share the love and positive energy. Ashley, I will take custom orders. I'd be happy to take custom order for you. Just shoot me an email and we'll get the process started. If it's something that I'm confident that I can make for you, we'll go from there. My email address, let me write it down for you so you could see, is. Let me write it down. Let me write it down. So my email address, if you would like to request a custom order, is psycheoperaco@gmail.com. You're very welcome, Ashley. Thank you. Alrighty. Alrighty, folks. So let's get started with the show. All right. So, I still got the Palo Santo going. That is going to be with us to help us today clear out those negative energies and bring in those positive vibes. Have a good day, Ashley. Alrighty. And so, let me leave Palo Santo somewhere in the corner so he comes out. The smoke comes out on camera. That I thought that would make this extra special. Okay. Here we go. Oh, we need more smoke, Palo Santo. We need more smoke. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Let's start the show with a conversation about agate. I like looking into all of the materials that I use to craft my jewelry. And so I did a little search to find out if there was anything interesting about agate. And this is what I found out. So, agate, this thing here, is a fine grained variety of quartz known as chalcedony that shows concentric color branding. The colors in agate are caused by microscopic inclusions of iron oxide minerals and quartz. Now, it's very easy to see the quartz in this piece. Little tiny quartz crystal. Although the color of this piece of agate is due to dye. This is an artificial dye. And so this piece of agate isn't naturally blue. And I acquired these agate segments that I'm going to be showing today years and years ago. And it was only recently um, that inspiration hit me and I knew what to do with them. And so this is my newest piece. All right. Actually, I should include the listing in the bottom while we talk about it. Let's do that quickly. Quickly. Let me pin this piece. Okay. Okay. It is pinned. Alrighty. And so, yeah, that's what it is geologically speaking. But agate is also a beautiful crystal with a rich history and a significant spiritual meaning across various cultures. And I didn't know this until I looked it up. And have a few notes here. Here's a glimpse into its fascinating past and metaphysical properties. All right, we get a better look of the agate here. No, let's leave it there, right there on the pedestal. All right. Okay, so ancient civilizations. Agate was highly valued by ancient civilizations like Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans. They used it for amulets, seals, and jewelry, believing it offered protection and healing powers. Okay, let's talk about Babylon and Persia. In oop, bump the camera again. In these In these ancient cultures, agate was thought of. Excuse me, I keep bumping my camera. All right, I'm not gonna sit. I'm gonna stand. There we go. All right. So in Babylon and Persia, agate was thought to ward off evil and protect against natural disasters. Interesting. In Egypt, agate was used in amulets for protection against calamities and to enhance eloquence. Very interesting. Um, they also used it to create decorative objects, obviously. Um, in China, agate was associated with spiritual protection, good fortune, and they believed that it brought positivity and luck. We need that. Um, in ancient Greece, agate was linked to Gaia, the earth mother, symbolizing strength and stability. It was also sometimes associated with Nyx, the goddess of night, suggesting mystical connections. Very, very interesting. In the Middle Ages, agate was worn, and we're talking about Europe, for good health, longevity, and stress relief. Need a little bit of that. It was also thought to protect crops and livestock. In the Islamic traditions, agate rings, especially those inscribed with prayers, are believed to protect the wearer, enhance faith, and bring blessings. Very interesting. Modern times, agate remains popular in jewelry for the obvious reasons it's beautiful, and spiritual practice for its beauty and grounding properties. All right. And so, in modern spiritual and metaphysical circles, this is what agate is used for: balancing and grounding. Agate is known for its ability to balance the mind, body, and spirit, transforming negative energy into positive vibrations. It's considered a grounding stone that promotes stability and security. Protection. Throughout history, agate has been revered as a protective stone, believing to ward off dangerous evil spirits and negative energies. Emotional healing. It's thought to foster emotional stability, encourage self confidence, and help heat inner anger. Excuse me, not heat. Heal inner anger and anxiety, promoting a sense of calm and tranquility. I really vibe with that today. Oh my gosh. Hence the Palo Santo. Anyways, emotional healing. It's thought to foster emotional stability, encourage self confidence. Oh, I read that already. Probably because I vibe with it. I had to read it again. Mental clarity. Agate is believed to enhance mental clarity, improve concentration, and stimulate analytical thinking and problem solving. Okay, I didn't know that one. Chakra associations. Different colors of agate. Now, take this with a grain of salt because this is dyed agate. This piece of agate isn't naturally blue. Um, I acquired it years ago from Michael's and I thought it was just so gorgeous. And it was a disappointment to find out that this wasn't the natural color of this agate, but it's still such there is value in just it being beautiful. And so it's this piece of agate, it's definitely a collab between people and nature. And so it's still, even though it's a dyed crystal, still has value to me. And so take these chakra associations with a grain of salt because this agate isn't naturally blue. It's currently blue, but not naturally blue. Chakra associations. Different colors of agate are associated with specific chakras, helping to balance the body's energy centers. For example, blue lace agate is linked to the throat chakra for clear communication. That's interesting because didn't the ancient Greeks use it for eloquence? Or was that the Babylonians? I have to go back into my notes. And moss agate is associated with the heart chakra for emotional balance and growth. I'm guessing that that is a green piece of agate. Connection to nature. Moss agate, with its green inclusions, is particularly linked to abundance, growth, and a deeper connection to the earth. Prosperity and good fortune. Some believe agate can attract prosperity and good luck, and that's harkening back to the Chinese tradition. Um, Meditation and spiritual growth. Supposedly, holding agate during meditation can deepen inner connection, self awareness, intuition, and facilitate spiritual growth. The diverse colors and patterns of agate, because it does naturally come in different colors. I think this naturally was just a white piece of agate, lots of quartz in it. All right, you could see almost the individual quartz crystals in there in that segment. Um, um, that the colors of agate carry their own specific meanings and properties, adding another layer of depth to this fascinating crystal. And that was interesting to find out. I didn't know that agate had such a rich tradition as an amulet or talisman. And so it was just very interesting that I had this in my crafting box for years and never made with it. And now is when I gravitated towards it and made these two pieces that I'm showing off today. And so, yes. Okay, so let me talk about the piece on Mannequin Skywalker, and then we'll switch off to the piece that I finished earlier this week. All right. So again, this is a dyed piece of agate. It's on a hybrid weave. It's a hybrid between Byzantine and rosette, chainmail weaves. Now, I told you guys that I was only crafting with what I had available, that I wasn't going to go to the craft store until I finished all the working with all of the materials that I currently have. And unfortunately, I ran out of these chainmail rings. I ran out of these jump rings, so I had to finish this necklace with this piece of chain, and it worked out. It looks a little more casual than if than had I been able to continue the Byzantine weave with the stainless steel jump rings, but it's still a beautiful piece. Its default length is 16 inches. It's meant to be worn as I prefer these collarbone pieces. It's meant to be worn as a collarbone piece, but there are extensions on it in case you need a little more length to achieve that look. And so, again, these rings are stainless steel, but these blue rings are anodized aluminum, and this is a dyed piece of agate. And yeah, I really enjoyed making this piece. It's a fun challenge to just work with what you have. First impulse was, okay, I got to go to a craft store and buy more of those jump rings. But I said to myself, no, let's think creatively and see how we could finish this piece in an elegant way with the materials we already have. As artists, sometimes it's hard to stay disciplined. Um, but you know, necessity is the mother of invention, and sometimes you arrive at a better design when you have to solve a problem, you know? And so I'm really proud of this piece. And if anyone wants to make a bid on it, I'm starting it at 20 for anyone who is interested, anyone who buys today. This is going out to the post office on Monday, just so you know the timeline for fulfillment of this piece. Now, those of you watching on YouTube, I know that you can't make a bid straight on YouTube, but what you can do is go to the link in the video description box and join me on Whatnot if you decide you want to snatch any of these pieces that I'm showing off today. And I noticed that my blue light, my background blue light, isn't on. Okay, that means that my DMX operator is misbehaving. Let me find out what's going on. Oh, okay, it got disconnected. Let me connect this guy quickly. You're going to see a blue light pop on in just a second. All right, DMX has come back online. Yay! And we got a blue light again. I like my pretty blue light. Alrighty. DMXs these days is a little unstable, and that's probably because the company that used to sell it and maintain it, the software and the hardware, discontinued it. But I'm working on making my own DMX encoder with an Arduino Mega. Now, that's a project that's really far off into the distance, as I have a to do list that is super long. But yeah, I hope to remedy um, the instability of my DMX system pretty soon. Those of you who know my content on YouTube know what I'm talking about. Um, and I encourage everyone on Whatnot, if you're into performing arts technology or music technology, check out my channel. My username is the same on YouTube. All right. We got 4 watching on YouTube. I appreciate you being here, folks. Let me change out the piece on Mannequin Skywalker and we can talk some more about agate. All right. And what's great about these agate pieces that I put together, folks, is that they're reversible. You have the crystal looks slightly different on both sides, so you can either wear it that way or you can either wear it that way. And it's the same for this other piece I'm going to put up. This piece is way more blingy than the one I just put together because it's pure Byzantine weave made with gold tone anodized aluminum. Kept the gold theme going with the very simple wire work I did to attach this piece of agate. And I got some blingy findings. I've had these for years, and I finally found the perfect piece to use them on. And this piece is also reversible. You could wear it with the agate facing this way or wear it with the agate facing this way. The agate looks different on both sides. This is also a collarbone piece, 16 inches long, but again, I do have extenders in there for people who need a little more length to achieve that look. Isn't that beautiful? Let me switch up the pin at the bottom of the screen because this is a different piece. All right, let me unpin that. I don't have my... Okay, let me pin this. All right, here you go. There it is. There it is at the bottom of the screen. Folks on Whatnot, you can claim this piece for $20. People on YouTube, if you want to claim this piece, just click on the link in the video description and you can set up a profile quickly on Whatnot and grab it up. Alrighty. Okay. So this piece definitely has a more ancient vibe than the first piece. Definitely a showstopper. This one definitely has a more modern vibe, but this piece on Mannequin Skywalker is really truly I'm really happy with how this this piece turned out. Hey La Toxica, welcome, welcome. I'm just showing off my new agate pieces. This one you've seen already, but let me show you the new one that I just finished today. Simpler, more modern vibe. And so at any point in the live, folks, you want me to run something, I will run it for you. Okay, so now we're going. Thank you so much, La Toxica. Thank you so much. What I would like to do now, unless there are any suggestions, I want to transition into, hey, Zokix, welcome. I want to transition into the dragon part of the show. Okay, we began the show with a little background on Agate and its spiritual properties. Um, and now I want to go into the world of dragons. But at any point in time, if somebody wants to make my agate pieces, let me know in the chat and I will run these for you at any point in time. So if you want to see anything again, you want me to run anything again, I will do it for you. All right. Let me show you on the latest, let me show you the latest dragon piece I'm working on. It's not done yet. I still have a lot of weaving to do to finish this zodiac dragon eye. This is definitely a water sign. Featuring helm weave. And I'm also working on something that has a definite Leo vibe. Now, this, I'm not sure whether this gives me Pisces or Cancer. I'm leaning towards Cancer. But the other piece that I'm working on does definitely give me a definite Leo vibe. So let's talk a little bit about dragons, because I have a few dragon pieces to sell today. Let's put one up on Mannequin Skywalker here. So stay tuned, folks. Stay tuned because these dragon pieces will be finished soon. Let me pull up one of my favorite dragon pieces. I'm surprised that this one doesn't have a new home yet because I love it so much. But this is a Gemini dragon eye featuring chainmail Byzantine weave, my favorite weave, two-toned, anodized aluminum jump rings, so it's very light. Those are the findings at the end. And it's meant to be worn as a short collarbone piece. 16-inch, but it does have extenders in case you need a little more length to achieve that look. While this is up here, let me switch the listing and let's talk about the symbology of dragons throughout history. Now, this is a little more complex than our talk about agate. Why is it more complex? Because in some cultures, dragons had bad connotations, bad meanings. But there's some cultures that revered the dragon for its good works, for its wisdom and other things. And so we're gonna talk about the complex meaning of dragon symbology. And so that ought to be interesting. But while we do that, let me switch up. And let's go to this. Oh, did I pin it? I thought I pinned it. Okay, I did pin it. Okay, so I'm starting these the at least the pieces that are finished and are ready to go home with somebody at $13. And so let's talk about dragons here. Da, da, da. Let me pull up my notes about dragons. Hey, got some people watching on YouTube. Welcome and thank you for the watch time. Feel free to comment YouTube. I am looking at the chat, and so I will be able to chat with anyone on YouTube as well. Okay. Okay. So here we go. The symbol of the dragon carries significantly different meanings and connotations in ancient Western and Eastern cultures. Here's a brief overview. Ancient Western cultures, primarily a symbol of chaos, evil, and destruction. In ancient Mesopotamia, the dragon like Tiamat represented primordial chaos. Similarly, in ancient Greek myths, dragons like Python and the I'm not gonna try to pronounce that, Hydra, were monstrous creatures often slain by heroes. Hmm, dark meaning so far. Again, in ancient Western cultures, dragons were guardians of treasures and ancient places. So this can have both good and bad meaning. Dragons were frequently depicted as fearsome guardians of valuable hoards or important sites, such as the dragon Ladon, guarding the golden apples of, I'm going to mess up this Greek name, Hesperides. I hope I got that right. Early Western dragons were often envisioned as giant snakes or reptiles, sometimes with multiple heads, and later evolved to include features like wings and the ability to breathe fire. In biblical and Christian symbolism, in the book of Revelation, the dragon symbolized Satan. Ugh. Okay, we're still in a dark area with dragons here. The popular legend of Saint George slaying the dragon further solidified the dragon as a representation of evil to be overcome by good. Interesting. While often negative, dragons could also represent raw power and were sometimes used as symbols in warfare, such as the dragon standards of the Roman military and the Viking longships with dragon figureheads. So, in Western traditions, dragons were basically evil, a symbol of evil. And you'd be like, why would I want to wear a symbol of evil? And I would say you shouldn't want to. And when we made these pieces, we didn't have any of those traditions in mind. Um, I grew up on movies in the 90s like Dragonheart, things like that, where dragons played the good guys. And so to me, uh, I didn't have that connection with dragons being a symbol of evil. I also, growing up, did martial arts. And in learning about the Korean, Chinese, and Japanese traditions, dragons were benevolent creatures. And so that's where I come from when I'm making these pieces of jewelry featuring dragons. And so let's talk about Eastern cultures where dragons were the good guys. Ancient Eastern cultures, primarily a symbol of power, wisdom, prosperity, and good fortune. In China, the the Lung, Chinese dragon, was revered, associated with imperial power, strength, and divine favor. Emperors often used the dragon as their emblem. They were also benevolent bringers of rain and life. East Asian dragons were often seen as controllers of water, weather, and the seasons, bringing much needed rain for agriculture and symbolizing harmony between humans and nature. I like that. Um, Physically, as we know, in Eastern cultures, they were serpentine with distinct features. Eastern dragons were typically depicted as long serpentine creatures with four legs, often possessing features from other animals like horns here of a stag, the head of a camel, and the scales of a carp. They were rarely shown with wings, as their ability to fly was considered mystical. Interesting that. They were, in Eastern cultures, embodiment of cosmic energy, chi, and the cycle of life. The dragon was deeply integrated into the philosophical and spiritual beliefs of East Asian cultures, representing vital energy and the continuous flow of the universe. In China, the dragon is seen as a representation of Chinese people's ancestry and national identity. The concept of being descendants of the dragon is a significant cultural idea. So we got a contrast of dragon symbology. And again, um, although my I honor a Western heritage, um, I grew up with movies and TV shows where the dragons were the good guy. And again, I did martial arts, so I picked up a lot of uh, meaning, positive meaning with dragons. Growing, learning a little bit about Korean and Chinese and Japanese culture through the practice of my martial art. And so for me, dragons always had a positive meaning. And so every piece that you purchase from us will have positive energy. I never created a piece, even the darker pieces, with the intent to promote evil or any sort of thing like that. Definitely not what I'm about. And so, let me show off some other pieces that are also available today. And if you're interested in me running any of these pieces, let me know in the chat and I will run it for you. So, what other dragons I have available apart from these beautiful, beautiful um, Gemini dragon eyes? Well, I have two. Do I have two? Yeah. I have two Capricorns available. Flyware, welcome. That's the first Capricorn, definitely a dark piece. This second Capricorn, which is more of an earthy dragon. And I also have an Aries, just one. An Aries dragon eye available. Okay. And stay tuned, because this piece is a work in progress and will become available very, very soon on a future stream. I also have some smaller dragon pieces that I can show off today in the live. Let me switch the listing in the bottom and we can get to those pieces for anyone who's interested. Let's see. Okay. 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 Alrighty. Alrighty. Okay. Let's bring back a few Dragon Eye pieces that I showed off in my last live. Here's the one we're calling the Smaug Eye. Great mal de ojo piece. Stainless steel chain, about 24 inches long. And let's see what he looks like on Mannequin Skywalker. All right. And today I am running these pieces, folks, starting at 5. So if anyone is interested in me running a piece, let me know in the chat. And so I have the Eye of Smaug, as we're calling him, available today. I also have kind of a orange golden dragon eye available. And I also have this green dragon eye available. All right. And so, chat, let me know if you would like me to run any piece, and I shall run it. Oop! Mannequin Skywalker isn't sticky enough to keep the eye in place. But take a look at that. Definitely a statement piece. Definitely a great mal de ojo piece. And so, all right. I see there are a few people on YouTube. Shout out to people watching on YouTube. Thank you so much for the watch time. It is deathly hard to rack up watch time on YouTube, even if you've reached a pretty decent sized audience. It's definitely hard. It's definitely difficult. Love the platform, but it is a challenge. It's definitely a challenge. And so I appreciate everyone watching on YouTube. Please feel free to join in the chat. I am also watching the YouTube chat. Let me know if you have any questions about anything that you see up on your monitor or on your phone. Alrighty, folks. Since we do not have any questions, I'd like to let people know that I do. Somebody asked earlier, I do take custom orders. All you got to do is email me at psycheoperaco@gmail.com And if I'm confident that I can make your piece a reality, we'll start a conversation. Um, Tomorrow, Mother's Day, folks, I will be streaming here on Whatnot and on YouTube between 5 and 7 p.m. Sundays is when I host my regular virtual craft market. And so, yeah, join me tomorrow and I'll present more of my new pieces again. And we'll have some mystery boxes to go through and just have more of a conversation going. And so I appreciate everyone who's tuned in today. And for now, I'm going to log out and bid everyone a happy Saturday. I may be back later today um, to show off these pieces again. Hopefully, more people will be able to see them and get a chance to bid on them. And so, stay tuned. Um, Click the subscribe button on YouTube or the follow button on Whatnot so that you'll be notified when I'm live. And I appreciate everyone here. Have a beautiful Saturday. Again, I may come back on. Click those notification buttons so that you will know when I'm on. And thank you so much. Have a very, very pleasant afternoon. Chaito.